Hello everyone, welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Duncan Diath and it's great to have you with us. Volunteers in Taiwan and the United States take part in training exercises to reaffirm their commitment to the Tzu Chi mission. We'll visit a married couple who are both volunteers in Qinghai, China, and both dedicated to walking the bodhisattva path. And we'll hear a report about why kidney problems and dialysis treatment are so common in Taiwan. Volunteers in northern Taiwan held training sessions to be reminded of some important values in life. Various activities were used to teach lessons and encourage the recruitment of more people to join Tzu Chi. Meanwhile, in the USA, Tzu Chi also hosted a series of humanitarian lessons to teach media volunteers how to improve communication skills through photography and journalism.
Everyone knows how to take a picture, but how to tell the story for your photograph is something that needs some practice and knowledge.
We're hosting a humanitarian event in various communities in hopes that the interactions between the volunteers will inspire more people to become a stream of purity in society.
Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters is hosting a series of humanitarian events to help media volunteers improve their skills. The headquarters invited the ITV staff and Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Pei-ying, who has been a journalist, program producer, and graphic artist, to share her knowledge.
I hope through my professional expertise, I can help the media volunteers to become more professional in their standard of operation, to not waste time or manpower and resources.
High school student Sophia, who got to know Tzu Chi through the food bank program, lived in Hong Kong and Beijing when she was younger and speaks fluent Chinese. She also has a clear idea of what she wants out of life.
I am more interested in film and the Chinese language. After finishing university, I hope to be a director or film producer.
Through hands-on practice, volunteers find stories of compassion within the community to inspire more people to join the good cause. Meanwhile, in Taiwan's New Taipei City, Tzu Chi volunteers from northern districts held a volunteer training where participants try their hands at a game of tug-and-war between good and evil. Volunteers also realized this game is a symbol of the need to recruit more like-minded people to join them to win the fight against evil. Similar types of intensive training were held simultaneously at the Jingse Hall in Xindian, Banqiao, and Sanchong. Jingse Bo Dharma masters also joined the event to share their understanding of the Sutra of the 8 Realizations of Great Beings. Tzu Chi volunteers in Banqiao shared how to better integrate themselves into the local community during their intensive training. Among the participants is Lin Wenling, who was a newly certified volunteer.
My parents gave me a healthy body so that I can walk on the bodhisattva path. I want to send my merit to my parents instead.
These volunteers, whether it is in the United States or in Taiwan, take the time to remain steadfast on their path of cultivation, nourishing their own wisdom.
3 times a year, in March, June, and October, the Tzu Chi Foundation holds activities as a means of teaching lessons and reinforcing the aspirations of volunteers. We'll see another group that learned lessons from tug of war, which was a metaphor for different struggles in life. Here's more from the day's events. With red faces and straining muscles, these volunteers are pulling with all their might. In addition to the strength of their hands, their legs are also working hard. That's right, these volunteers are pulling with all their might in this tug-of-war test of strength. Among the participants is Ding Pei-yu, who has been married 23 years but had serious conflict with her mother-in-law for the first 15 years.
I was always much more straightforward, but she would never come directly to me, always relaying messages through my husband. And that would always end up creating conflict between me and them. It was those times that I really thought about getting a divorce.
After joining Tzu Chi and 4 years before her mother-in-law passed away, Mrs. Ding finally began to change her standoffish attitude. After the two women made their apologies, their relationship was also mended. However, at that time, Ding's husband's business encountered problems.
After my husband started doing recycling, he began to get out more and more, and his heart began to slowly open up, and he was able to accept the situation.
On the surface, it is a combination of physical strength, but behind that, it is an exercise in putting your heart and spirits together.
This activity today is meant to be a lesson about the struggle between opposing forces in life. The activity makes for an unforgettable experience that also offers a bit of wisdom. In Qinghai, China, there are currently only 8 certified Tzu Chi volunteers. Next, we'll meet 2 of those dedicated volunteers, a married couple, Wang Yong'an and Yang Yan. For their training as volunteers, the couple makes regular trips from Qinghai all the way to Sichuan, a journey of over 1,200 kilometers. We'll join them as they visit a scholarship student in the community. In Qinghai, China, there are currently only 8 certified Tzu Chi volunteers, while there are 17 New Shoots scholarship recipients. One married couple, Wang Yong'an and Yang Yan, are both volunteers who make it their duty to check on all the students with monthly visits to make sure they are growing up healthy. This is Yun Gui Qing. She has dealt with a very sad childhood because of the loss of her parents. Now she relies upon her grandparents. Originally a shy child, she now looks forward to the volunteers' visit and also offers a bamboo coin bank for donation. These volunteers are eager to do good for others, and they actively take part in Tzu Chi activities and training courses. However, from their home in Qinghai to Sichuan, where they must go to complete their training, is a trip of more than 1,200 kilometers.
First, we have to pay for the plane ride, then we have to get on a bus, which is still quite a long ride. But I still think coming for the training is worth it. Even with the highway, driving there takes 17 hours. Along the way, these volunteers can see a change in the weather. There's a heavy snow in Qinghai, and with the slow trip down to Gansu, the landscape becomes more bleak. Finally, once we get to Sichuan, we can see the flowers in bloom. Despite the long rides, the volunteers are happy to bring smiles to others.
They really show us what love is and give me a warm feeling.
These 2 volunteers are dedicated to their mission of spreading love and warmth to every corner of Qinghai that they can. In Kaohsiung, Taiwan, volunteers recently joined together to help a disabled man clean up his home. Mr. Wang Shengyan suffers from mobility issues and has been shut off from the world. Volunteers hope that by improving his living environment, he might gain some confidence and a more positive outlook. Entering this home, stacks of books, papers, and magazines are all piled haphazardly all over the furniture. Volunteers begin the process of moving them all one by one. This is the home of 52-year-old Wang Shengyan. He contracted polio when he was 2 years old and has always dealt with mobility issues. He studied at National Tsinghua University and later married. However, in his midlife, he divorced and also suffered a serious car accident.
Because of his legs, he has no way to walk around, so he complains a lot. He always asks, why did he have to be so unfortunate, and why did things happen to him?
Last year, Mr. Wang shut himself off from the world. He also lost his motivation, and his home fell into a poor condition. His younger brother, who is a Tzu Chi volunteer, was finally able to get Mr. Wang to meet the Tzu Chi family. To help lift Mr. Wang's spirits, volunteers decided they should first clean up his home.
It's like he doesn't want to open his heart. We have to get him to open up. So first we will clean up his living environment.
20 volunteers came together for the day and cleaned up the home just as if it were their own house, leaving no corner unchecked. They moved out the furniture and gave the entire residence a thorough cleaning.
I never thought that all these people would come help. I never expected you all to do so much. I'm very moved and I have more confidence for the future.
The cleaning process lasted from morning until evening, but as the cleaning progressed, the home is barely recognizable. Everyone hopes this will give Mr. Wang a fresh start in life. In Indonesia, volunteers often visit the Dawang Learning House in Tangerang, where impoverished students can get extra help with their studies. Thanks to the volunteers' inspiration, students have vowed to study hard and be filial children. Let's take a look.
At the Dawang Learning House in Tangerang, many impoverished students who cannot receive formal schooling are now studying. Tzu Chi volunteers come to accompany them once every 2 months.
Every time we come, we encourage the children to study hard and be filial towards their parents. We want to improve their moral character.
The volunteers share some fun learning time with the children, with sign language and games. Among the students is Karini, who usually has to help her parents with household chores and other work.
Sometimes I want to go to school. Sometimes I don't, because if I do, there is no one to clean the house and care for my younger sister.
Siti, who's even younger, sells bread during her spare time. She says that being independent is helpful for her future.
I sell things to make money to help my parents. Although sometimes people laugh at me, I do not care because I think supporting myself is not a shame.
Learning gives these children a way out of poverty. The love and care of the volunteers also encourage the children to bravely pursue a brighter future.
To raise funds for the Malacca Tzu Chi International School, Tzu Chi Seremban Liaison Office hosted a musical concert to gather love from people throughout the community. A famous singer, Elaine Kang, also gave a performance at the event. Let's take a look.
Being able to help a bit to establish the school makes me feel quite happy.
The Seremban Tzu Chi volunteer sells her handmade pineapple cakes to raise funds for Malacca Tzu Chi International School.
I will prepare 20 bottles of the pineapple cakes and sell each one for 15 ringgit. If I sell out 20 bottles, then I will have 300 ringgit. This way, I can donate the money for the school. Though I feel tired continuing to do this, I feel very happy.
I bought a big box of tea leaves from Tzu Chi, and then I donated 30 small boxes.
This volunteer does good deeds for her 90-year-old father.
Being able to carry out my filial duties and do good for the elderly is very meaningful.
This volunteer also donates her necklace, which was a gift from her mother over 40 years ago.
I don't think it helps if I just keep it because I don't wear it either. It has no value if I simply put it aside. So I think it is very meaningful if I can sell it and donate the money for this school.
If everyone contributes a little, there is hope for the establishment of the school. Volunteers also host a musical concert to raise funds for the Malacca Tzu Chi International School.
This will help to purify children's hearts and will be very important to us in the future.
Singer Elaine Kang is very kind-hearted. After she heard about the fundraising for the Tzu Chi school, she immediately agreed to perform at this event.
Volunteers work wholeheartedly to organize the concert and recruit staff. To raise more love, volunteers go door to door to promote the concert.
We should definitely support this kind of event and our idol. We can also support Tzu Chi to establish international schools.
As volunteers, we should do more. If we still have the ability to help others, we should continue to work hard.
This volunteer has been eating less to save 3 Malaysian ringgits each day to buy the concert ticket for 150 ringgits.
Originally, I felt stressed, but later I started to save money little by little. I saved 3 ringgits each day.
This resident donates her money, which she earns from recycling, to support education.
It's fine since I'm willing to donate.
With everyone's compassion and benevolence, the power of love has been spread throughout Malaysia.
Dialysis treatment is prevalent in Taiwan, and it depletes Taiwan's medical resources. Doctors say the high rate of kidney failure in Taiwan is due to poor medicine consumption habits, including dependency on over-the-counter drugs and improper use of prescribed drugs as well. Next, we'll take a look at the problem.
因为我吃过那个油丸啊。
63-year-old patient Zhang Ruihong undergoes dialysis 3 times a week, spending nearly 4 hours at each treatment.
一整天都要在家。
I have to stay home the whole day because had I gone out, I would have missed the dialysis treatments in the afternoon.
Due to dialysis, she cannot travel afar and has to go to the hospital once every 2 days.
I'm not used to this. After a while, I'm still not used to this.
When she was young and still working, she often held back urine and drank little water. When she fell ill, she followed people's advice and took herbal medicines.
It is too easy to purchase medicines. She did not take the medicines prescribed by real doctors.
Her medicine consumption habit finally led to her need for dialysis.
应该讲不好，都买那个。
It was not good. I bought medicines outside and lacked medical knowledge.
In Taiwan, there are more than 80,000 people who undergo dialysis. The national health insurance spends more than $1.6 billion on dialysis, or $19,000 on each dialysis patient each year.
Dialysis depleted much of the medical resources. It takes up about 1/10 of the entire national health insurance budget.
Taiwan ranks among the top globally in the prevalence of patients undergoing dialysis. Recently, the government's effort at preventing kidney diseases finally paid off.
Many Chinese medicines contain aristocolic acid, which can lead to damage of the kidneys.
Aristolochic acid can lead to fibrosis and atrophy of the kidneys. In 1993, people were alarmed when a Belgian woman used diet pill that contains aristolochic acid, which led to kidney failure. In 2003, Taiwan began to forbid the use of Chinese medicines that contain aristolochic acid. Nevertheless, there are still young patients with kidney failure in Taiwan.
I took painkillers 4 to 5 times a month, especially when I was attending high school and college.
Tang Yanyi took painkillers for 16 years until she experienced swelling in her body.
Back then, her creatine still looked normal, but the GFR already reached the level of second-stage renal disease.
I thought I was young and I only took 1 or 2 pills, so my body should be able to metabolize it. I never imagined it would lead to kidney disease.
Fortunately, her conditions were brought under control. She does not yet need dialysis, but she needs to do follow-up checks.
Kidney diseases caused by long-term illnesses cannot be reversed.
In Taiwan, it is easy to purchase medicine. Consider the prevalence of pharmacies. However, overconsumption of medicines without proper medical consultation can lead to health problems that cannot be reversed.
A Malaysian woman in Penang named Ong Tai Hong suffered from kidney failure in 2010. Since then, she has been depressed because she must receive dialysis often. But learning from Jingsa aphorisms, she now faces life positively.
7 years ago, when Ong Tai Hong heard she needed dialysis, she became very upset because her husband died from a kidney failure.
Before I had the disease, life had been very tough because I had to work to raise the family. I work in a restaurant cooking food, and I also cook noodle to make a living. I did everything. But when the doctor told me my kidneys were gone, it made me very sad. I cried all day long.
In the past, she had to toil hard for her family, but when a kidney disease befell her, her life became meaningless. Then one day when she heard Master Zheng Yan's teaching, it changed her mind, and she decided to live for herself and her family.
She once said she hoped to see her grandchildren grow up, so her motivation came from her daughter and her grandchildren.
After I started my dialysis, my health started to improve. The nurses, volunteers, and the staff are very kind. They treat us like a family.
Taiwan has stopped pitying herself as she now grasps time to volunteer.
I remember when I met Sister Taifeng for the first time, she gave me the impression that she wasn't a person who one could get along with easily. When we made bread for the first time, you could sense that despite her stern look, she had a very kind heart.
We came to pay back by helping people. If people have helped us, we must help people.
Although she is still physically ill, she feels her mind will continue to remain healthy in her new life.
In Malaysia, team members and volunteers from Penang made home visits to some underprivileged patients. After receiving love and care from doctors and volunteers, the patients now have more confidence to overcome life's challenges.
In addition to checking on the health for patients in hospitals, TIMA members also visit patients at home to care for their physical and mental health. For years, Mr. Lim has had negative thoughts because he suffers from stomach and heart problems. Knowing that doctors care about them, most of the patients are willing to listen to their advice.
You cannot eat the food which contains sugar, not even a little, because your diabetes will get worse.
One day each month, TIMA and volunteers from Penang visit underprivileged patients to check on their health.
Visiting the patients personally helps to understand why they feel depressed and helpless. We can get a better understanding of these patients.
We have no problems contacting the doctors so far because TIMA has held many activities over the years. We have formed a good affinity with these doctors.
The medical team divides into 4 different groups to visit the patients, with each one having the company of doctors, nutritionists, nurses, and volunteers. Understanding the patient's backgrounds and symptoms of the disease helps to safeguard their health comprehensively.
The Tzu Chi Middle and Elementary School in Hualien recently participated in the 2017 International Exhibition for Young Inventors, and students received a gold medal and a bronze medal for their inventions. Here are a few images from the event, and congratulations to the students and the school. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.